Welcome, spicy ladies. Some women carry light, others are the light. The difference? The ones who are the light don't flicker when darkness enters the room. When people talk about Sigma women, they usually focus on how independent or mysterious they are, but that barely scratches the surface. There's something much deeper at play, something spiritual. These women aren't just hard to manipulate or difficult to control. They're spiritually untouchable. Not because life hasn't tried to break them, but because they've survived every storm with more clarity, more strength, and more discernment. Evil people can't touch them because their energy doesn't allow it. They're not protected by luck or charm. They're protected by alignment. They know who they are, and more importantly, they know who they're not. And that self-awareness acts like a divine firewall. They've been through pain most can't imagine, but instead of turning bitter, they turned inward. They healed, they sharpened, and now evil can't find a grip. This isn't just about being strong, it's about being wise. Sigma women don't chase favor, validation, or attention. They move with purpose. They ask for clarity, not comfort. And when they walk away from something toxic, it's not out of fear. It's out of knowing exactly what they deserve. So, if you're a Sigma woman or you're becoming one, understand this. You're not overlooked. You're shielded. And not because you're weak, but because you were built to carry light in places that desperately need it. Your strength isn't loud, but it's real. And that's exactly what makes evil afraid of you. Now, let's dive in. Number 1, God doesn't shield the weak only. He sharpens the strong. Here's the truth. God doesn't hand out his shield to just anyone. He doesn't guard those who avoid the fire. He walks with the ones who go through it and come out sharper. And that's exactly what makes Sigma women different. They're not protected because they're fragile or in need of saving. They're protected because they've already survived the kind of battles most people never talk about. You see, a Sigma woman doesn't ask for the storm to stop. She just asks for the strength to walk through it without losing herself. She doesn't crumble when life gets heavy. She adjusts her grip and keeps moving. That kind of strength doesn't come from books or quotes or pretending to be strong. It comes from being brought to your knees, then standing back up with nothing but your willpower and grit. God's shield isn't a cozy blanket. It's not here to make life easier. It's armor built piece by piece from every heartbreak, every betrayal, every sleepless night where you chose peace over revenge. It's not made of pity. It's made of purpose. And Sigma women, they wear that armor. Well, this is why evil can't touch them. Not because they hide from it, but because they faced it, stared it down, and said, "You don't get to define me." Their strength makes the wicked uncomfortable. Their peace is too loud for chaos to compete with, and their spirit too grounded to be shaken by shallow people with hidden motives. Sigma women don't just survive darkness. They own their light. God doesn't shield them because they're helpless. He shields them because they're dangerous to anything built on lies, manipulation, or fear. So, if you're that woman, keep walking. You're not too much. You're not hard. You're called. And that divine shield you carry, you earned it. Number 2, Sigma females don't just pray for favors only. They pray for something deeper. Discernment. Sigma women walk a different path. While most people are asking God for blessings, breakthroughs, and things to happen faster, Sigma women are asking for something deeper, discernment. They're not just begging for life to be easy. They're asking to see things clearly, to know who's real and who's just pretending. And that's exactly why evil struggles to get close. You won't find a Sigma woman praying for comfort only or shortcuts. She knows that real growth doesn't come from skipping the struggle. It comes from facing it head-on, fully awake. So instead of asking for a smoother road, she asks for sharper eyes. Instead of asking for everyone to like her, she asks to recognize the ones who don't truly care. She knows how easy it is to get tricked by the surface. People who talk sweet but move shady. Relationships that feel good but drain your soul. She's learned that the biggest threats don't always come with warning signs. Sometimes they come smiling, helpful, even loving. But a Sigma woman has trained her spirit to pick up on what words try to hide. When she asks God for discernment, she's not asking to judge others. She's asking to protect her peace. And because she's not driven by desperation, Evil can't use her desires against her. She's not looking for validation, attention, or someone to complete her. She's complete already, and that makes her hard to manipulate. People with bad intentions hate women like her. Why? Because they can't figure out why their charm isn't working. They can't find the emotional hook to pull her in. She's always 10 steps ahead, watching what's not being said, feeling the energy behind the words. This is why Sigma women are spiritually untouchable. God doesn't just bless them with things. He blesses them with vision. And when you can see through people, evil has nowhere to hide. Right now, if you are still watching, I hope this video can help you. Your comments motivate me so much, so I can make more videos which you like. So hit that subscribe button and leave me a message. Let's continue. Number 3. They've died before, just not physically. You can't shake a Sigma woman with fear. You can't rattle her with chaos or control her with threats. Why? Because she's already been to hell and back, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. She's died before, just not in the way most people think. There were times in her life when everything inside her shattered. When the people she trusted the most turned cold. When she felt invisible, unwanted, misunderstood, or just done. And in those dark, silent nights when nobody was watching, she broke. But here's what makes her different. She didn't stay broken. She rebuilt herself quietly without a crowd, without applause. She stood back up with a heart that was no longer naive and a mind sharper than ever. The version of her that was soft for the wrong reasons, gone. The part of her that second-guessed her worth, dead and buried. What rose in its place was something the world isn't ready for. A woman who has nothing to prove and nothing to lose. And that's why evil can't touch her. You can't scare someone who's already felt every kind of pain and still chose to keep moving. You can't manipulate a woman who's already wrestled with her own demons and came out wiser. She's not impressed by threats, and she's not afraid of losing people because she's already lost parts of herself that mattered more than anyone else ever could. What you see now is a woman who walks with quiet power. She's calm, but not because her life has been easy. It's because she knows what it's like to burn and survive. She's been through silent deaths that no one clapped for. And that silence, that's where she found herself. So, no, she's not cold. She's clear. She's not cruel. She's free. And if you try to play games with her, just know she's already fought battles deeper than you can imagine. And she won. Number 4, they mirror evil, so it exposes itself. Sigma women don't have to confront evil to expose it. They don't need to argue, accuse, or even raise their voice. Their presence alone is like a mirror, one that silently reflects back whatever people are trying to hide. And that's exactly why evil can't stand to be around them for long. When someone with bad intentions comes near a Sigma woman, they start to squirm. Not because she attacks them, but because she sees them. Not just the words they speak, but the energy behind those words. She picks up on what's not being said. The inconsistencies, the forced charm, the subtle manipulation. It all starts to unravel when she's in the room. She doesn't chase truth. She attracts it. And people with dark motives hate that. They rely on confusion, on people doubting themselves, on being able to twist reality. But with a Sigma woman, there's no room for that. Her calm energy, her unshakable peace, and her unspoken awareness make it nearly impossible to keep pretending around her. The wicked want to stay hidden. They don't want to be seen for what they truly are. But a Sigma woman doesn't even have to call them out. They start falling apart on their own. Their lies get clumsy. Their charm loses its shine. And their game, it stops working because they can feel she's not buying any of it. That's the quiet power of a Sigma woman. She doesn't fight dirty energy. She makes it reveal itself. Just by staying grounded, by being fully herself, she pulls the mask right off. No drama, no shouting, just truth showing up, raw and undeniable. Evil thrives in places where no one pays attention. But a Sigma woman pays attention to everything. And that's why darkness tries to run when she walks in. Not because she's loud, but because she's clear. And in that clarity, everything fake starts to shake. Number 5, God doesn't hide them. He makes them dangerous to darkness. God doesn't tuck Sigma women away in corners, or hide them behind walls. He doesn't keep them safe by keeping them unseen. No, he does something far more powerful. He equips them. He shapes them into the kind of women darkness regrets messing with. This isn't protection that looks soft or passive. It's not about avoiding the storm. It's about becoming the storm when needed. Sigma women don't sit around hoping evil passes them by. They've been sharpened by pain, refined by betrayal, and made stronger through every battle they didn't ask for, but fought anyway. And they didn't just survive. They evolved. They carry a quiet kind of power. Not loud, not flashy, but strong enough to make manipulators uneasy. Strong enough to shake liars out of their comfort zone. Evil doesn't just walk away from them. It backs off confused, frustrated, and exposed. Why? Because Sigma women can't be controlled. And that scares people who rely on fear, guilt, or flattery to get what they want. There's a reason they don't fold under pressure. They've been through fires that would have broken most people, and instead of burning out, they became unshakable. God didn't remove the battles. He made sure they had everything they needed to win them. And that's a different kind of divine protection. He gave them insight, discernment, emotional intelligence, and a spirit that refuses to bow to darkness. That's what makes them dangerous. Not in a reckless way, but in a righteous way. They don't need to raise their voice to make their presence known. They don't need to fight dirty to win. They just stand in truth, and the truth does all the heavy lifting. So no, God didn't hide Sigma women. He empowered them. He made them the kind of women evil thinks twice about approaching, because once you try to deceive them, control them, or break them, you'll quickly realize you picked the wrong one. Number 6. They don't fight evil, they starve it. Sigma women have mastered something most people never learn. Not everything deserves a reaction. When evil comes knocking through manipulation, mind games, drama, or emotional bait, they don't open the door. They don't scream. They don't argue. They simply withdraw their energy. And that alone is devastating. See, evil wants attention. It feeds off chaos. It loves when you get rattled, when you explain yourself endlessly, when you stoop down and wrestle in the mud. But Sigma women refuse to hand over their peace like that. They understand that the real power lies not in clapping back, but in starving the darkness of the fuel it craves. Their silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's spiritual discipline. It says, I see you, but I won't play your game. That alone sends shockwaves through people who are used to provoking reactions. And when they don't get it, when the Sigma woman just goes quiet, pulls back, and cuts the cord, that silence becomes louder than any fight ever could. Because here's the truth. When evil doesn't get the reaction it wants, it loses momentum. It starts to crumble. It's like trying to light a fire with no oxygen. Eventually, it suffocates. That's the kind of pressure a Sigma woman applies without even raising her voice. She doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. She doesn't waste her time explaining herself to people who are committed to misunderstanding her. Instead, she retreats into her peace. And that peace becomes her weapon. It disarms. It disrupts. It destroys the power evil thought it had over her. And what's most chilling to her enemies, there's no closure, no dramatic ending, just distance, just silence, just the unbearable weight of being ignored by someone who saw everything and still refused to engage. That's the Sigma woman's power. She doesn't fight evil. She lets it starve in her absence. Number 7. Their past is not a place of shame, but a library of lessons. Sigma women don't bury their past. They study it. They don't pretend bad things never happened. Instead, they take notes, connect dots, and file every betrayal, every manipulation, every fake smile into a mental library that's always open and always organized. That's the thing about Sigma women. They remember not in a bitter, resentful way, but in a wise, calculating way. They don't walk around wounded. They walk around armed. Their scars aren't signs of weakness. They're receipts. And because they've done the deep inner work, no one can run the same game on them twice. Evil depends on forgetfulness. It relies on people giving too many second chances, ignoring patterns, and brushing off gut instincts. But with a Sigma woman, that doesn't fly. She's seen the trick before, heard the lines, recognized the setups, And when she notices that same energy resurfacing in a new face or a familiar situation, she doesn't panic. She pivots. She's not held back by her past, she's informed by it. That's why people can't manipulate her. She doesn't just listen to words. She watches behavior, tone, timing. She tracks subtle shifts that most people miss. And when something smells off, she trusts herself without second guessing. Evil hates that. It wants amnesia. It wants naivety. But a Sigma woman carries history like armor. You can try to charm her, confuse her, or even intimidate her, but you'll quickly realize she's already decoded your playbook. And here's the most powerful part. She doesn't even need to announce it. She doesn't need to confront you. She'll just quietly withdraw, adjust her approach, or exit altogether. Because when you've truly learned from your past, you don't keep letting it repeat. So no, her past doesn't haunt her. It shields her. And that's exactly why evil can't get close without getting exposed. Number 8, they don't offer access. They require audits. You don't just walk into a Sigma woman's life because you smiled, showed interest, or said the right things. She's not impressed by charm, credentials, or sweet words. Access to her space, her mind, her energy, her time isn't automatic. It's earned. And not through flattery, but through consistency, truth, and clean intent. Think of it like this. Where others leave the door cracked, Sigma women install a divine filter, a spiritual audit system. You can't fake your way through it. She watches. She listens. She studies the little things. The way you respond under pressure. The way your words match or don't match your actions. She's not just listening to what you say. She's feeling what you carry. This is what separates her from the average. She's not desperate for connection. She's not rushing to be chosen. In fact, she knows the cost of letting the wrong people in. She's paid that price before and she's not paying it again. That's why she audits quietly, intentionally, relentlessly. Evil doesn't thrive where there's high accountability, and Sigma women require accountability. That's why manipulators fail around them. You can't glide past her radar. She won't call you out right away. But don't mistake her silence for blindness. She's scanning, noting, and evaluating. By the time most people realize they're being tested, it's already too late. And the audit never stops. It's ongoing. Because access to a Sigma woman isn't a one-time pass. It's a privilege that must continue to align with her peace, her growth, and her purpose. The real beauty here is that those with honest hearts and true intentions never feel like they're being tested. Because clean energy moves freely. It has nothing to hide. But for those hoping to sneak in with hidden agendas, Sigma women are a fortress. You don't get in because you showed up. You get in because you showed up right. Number 9. Their energy is clean and evil can't digest it. There's something about a Sigma woman's presence that unsettles the wrong kind of people. And it's not because she's loud, aggressive, or confrontational. It's because her energy is clean. Her intentions are clear. Her spirit is rooted in truth, not performance. And that kind of purity messes with people who live off lies. Evil doesn't know what to do with someone who isn't playing a role. Sigma women don't manipulate, pretend, or chase approval. They move from a grounded place, focused, honest, and free of hidden agendas. And because their frequency is so clear, it throws off anyone operating in the shadows. You can't lie comfortably in their presence. You can't fake love, fake loyalty, or fake depth. Their energy will flush it out. It's not just about being good or nice. It's about being aligned. Sigma women have been through the storm and come out cleaner. They've done the inner work. They've faced their demons. That's why they don't carry bitterness or hidden ego. They walk in peace that was earned, not inherited. That peace acts like a light, bright, steady, and unbothered. And that's exactly why the wicked can't stand to be near them for long. People with toxic motives might be drawn in at first, curious, intrigued, maybe even obsessed. But the more time they spend around her, the more uncomfortable they become. Not because she exposes them directly, but because her presence confronts their lies. It's like trying to eat something too pure when your system is built on poison. You choke on it, you spit it out, or you run. That's the secret of a Sigma woman's power. She doesn't need to fight evil. Her very essence makes it recoil. She doesn't dim her light to make others feel safe. She stands firm in it. And the fake, the dishonest, and the manipulative, they simply can't digest it, so they leave or they unravel. Either way, she wins. Number 10. They're watched over, but they also watch themselves. Yes, Sigma women walk with divine protection, but let's not ignore the part they play in it. God's shield is powerful, no doubt, but they don't just rely on it blindly. They stay alert. They stay sharp. Because the truth is, evil doesn't always come wearing horns. Sometimes it shows up looking like comfort, like flattery, like opportunity. And that's where their inner discipline kicks in. Sigma women don't just watch others. They watch themselves constantly. They audit their thoughts. They check their motives. They examine what triggered them and why. They don't let their emotions run wild, and they don't let their wounds speak for them. That kind of self-awareness is rare, and it's one of the main reasons evil can't find a way in. See, the most dangerous thing a woman can do is go through life unaware of her own blind spots. That's how toxicity sneaks in. But Sigma women aren't asleep at the wheel. They're not out here trying to be perfect, but they are intentional. They question themselves before the world ever has to. They sit with their pain instead of projecting it. They ask, is this me or is this old hurt? Trying to make a decision. That constant self-check keeps their spirit clean. And when your spirit is clean, you become incredibly hard to manipulate. Evil has nowhere to latch on when you're not carrying unchecked guilt, jealousy, insecurity, or ego. Those are the cracks it usually crawls through. And Sigma women seal them up one by one. So, yes, they're protected, but not because they're passive. They co-create that shield with God through relentless awareness. They don't just wait for signs. They look inward and stay aligned. That's what makes them powerful. They're not just guarded from the outside, they're guarded from within. And that dual layer of divine and personal vigilance, that's exactly why evil doesn't stand a chance. Number 11. They don't just spot red flags, they collect patterns. Most people wait for the big betrayal, the explosive argument, the obvious lie, the moment someone shows their true colors. But Sigma women, they don't wait for the fallout. They've been watching everything from the very beginning. A Sigma woman doesn't just notice red flags. She tracks patterns. She pays attention to the small shifts, the off tone, the subtle contradictions that most people brush off. When someone's words don't match their energy, she feels it. When behavior starts to slip, when someone who was once warm suddenly goes cold, or when the overly nice turns controlling, she doesn't second-guess herself. She just starts taking notes mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And here's the part most people miss. She doesn't react right away. She stays calm. She stays quiet. Because Sigma women don't jump to conclusions. They gather proof. While the fake person thinks they're getting away with something, she's already 5 steps ahead. Stacking moments, comparing behaviors, testing for consistency. She knows that people reveal themselves over time, not with words, but through patterns. And she has the patience to wait. So by the time someone tries to lie, manipulate, or guilt trip her, she's not caught off guard. She's not confused. She's already seen it coming. What they think is a surprise move is actually their final piece in a puzzle she finished days or even weeks ago. This is why evil people can't last long around a Sigma woman. They're used to slipping through the cracks, playing innocent and rewriting history. But she doesn't forget. She doesn't excuse patterns just because someone apologizes once or acts right for a day. She trusts consistency, not convenience. And when the time comes, she doesn't explode. She just exits calmly, fully informed, and completely done. Because while others were trying to figure out if something felt off, she was already collecting receipts. Here's the real truth. Sigma women don't just survive evil. They expose it without even trying. They don't get protected because they're perfect or lucky. They're protected because they've chosen the harder path. The path of awareness, healing, quiet strength, and self-discipline. That's not something anyone hands you. That's something you become. Evil can't reach them because it can't fool them. They've outgrown manipulation. They've studied their past like a textbook, learned the patterns, and now they see through masks in seconds. God's shield over them isn't just some mystical force. It's built into who they are. It's the discernment they've sharpened, the silence they've mastered, and the boundaries they've set without apology. They aren't guarded because they're scared. They're guarded because they've been cracked open, put back together, and now they know their worth. They don't beg for peace, they protect it. And if you're watching this wondering why your energy doesn't attract chaos the way it used to, or why certain people suddenly fall off when you level up spiritually, that's no accident. You're not cold. You're not too much. You're just stepping into your Sigma self. That kind of woman makes evil nervous because she can't be played. She doesn't respond on command. She listens to her gut before she listens to noise. And when it's time to walk away, she does so with her head high and no need for closure. So if you're a Sigma woman, this is your reminder. Your strength isn't loud, but it is deeply known. You are covered, but you're also conscious. You are chosen, but not for comfort, for a purpose. And that's why darkness can't sit in your light. Stay rooted, stay sharp, and never shrink your truth to make evil feel safe. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to break patterns. I hope this meets your needs. Let me know if you need any further adjustments. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies make life beautiful, see you in our next video.